Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and happy Wednesday. It is me, Lay. I promise. My voice is still not the best. This virus has been hanging on here. This is like my seventh day, I think, or eighth day. But yeah, I hope you guys are staying well. I don't know if it's the weather, but I'm good. I'm good. It's just a voice. It's a little bit hoarse. Um, it's like a bedroom voice today. But anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. It is Wednesday, and we're back for another class with Faber-Castell and Michaels. And today we're going to do some brush lettering. And honestly, I'm a little bit emotional today because um, aside from being so grateful for doing the classes for like 2.5 years with Faber-Castell and Michaels, today is going to be my last class, but I'm so glad that you guys are here joining in. I do apologize. I wish I do not have this voice today, but you know what? We're going to have to do what we're going to have to do, right? So I just want to thank everyone because today's class is about brush lettering, and we're going to letter um, something for Thanksgiving. And I'm here very grateful for all of you for the community that we've built for the last 2.5 years, I think. And I'm just feeling so grateful. I'm so happy that I was able to be part of your journey, of your art, of your creativity. And I'm just super grateful to be here today. And I'm so grateful that I still have a little bit voice because the last couple of days there was really zero, none. So today we're going to be using the Albrecht Durer watercolor markers. And if you do not have these markers, if you have the Gold Faber Aqua, that's going to work. Or if you have any water-soluble markers, that is going to work. Since we're going to be working with water-soluble markers, this one is a watercolor marker, we're going to need a watercolor paper or a mixed media paper. That's going to work. Some pencil, of course, we're going to need that. We're going to need some water. We're going to need some round brushes, or if you have some water brush, that's also going to work. For blending, if you have like a little smaller round brush, that's going to work. But if you have like a 2-4, um, it's going to work also. Just try to write bigger so it will be easier. Now, if you guys are new to brush lettering, and if this is your first time attending our class, my name is Lay. I'm also known as Mommy Lay on the internet. We did a lot of classes with Michaels when it comes to brush lettering. You can watch all the brush lettering videos on Michael's YouTube channel, so make sure to check that out. But my key to a beautiful blending when it comes to water-soluble markers is using either the Pitt Artist Pen, the Faber-Castell one, in the Light Indigo 220, or if you have like a light gray marker that is a waterproof, that's going to work. Or if you have the sketch marker, which is an alcohol marker, a cold gray or very, very light blue, that would be perfect because we want to have a base of our lettered word, and then we can do the blending much, much better. We don't have to think about the thin and the thick line and all that jazz. If we use an alcohol marker or a Pitt Artist Pen that is both waterproof, then we don't have to worry about the base, right? But we need a pencil to sketch the words. All right. Thank you so much, Angie. Thank you guys so much. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Okay, let us start with our pencil. Our pencil is so important. Eraser. I love the kneaded eraser. This is my favorite. Now, we always have trouble with our sketch because sometimes it's really hard to see. I always let you guys know that when you're sketching, it is really important to sketch really lightly because sometimes it's, especially if it's a graphite pencil, most of the time it's really, really hard to erase them. So if you can sketch as light as you can, but I'm going to try to sketch as heavy as I can so you guys can really see, okay? So I want to write the words give thanks always. Again, you can say be blessed, stay grateful. You can make your own words. depends on what you want, but I want to have give, 2 words first, give, thanks, and then thanks is the second one. And the word always, I want to write it in print, but inside maybe a banner underneath, okay? So I'm going to let's just use this page for now. So the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to write it down so you guys can see my initial. I'm going to write give. Again, this is just a pencil, right? Give, like that. And then thanks over here, down my letter G. It's almost the same as my letter G, the loops, and then H, A. My style of brush lettering is called the bounce lettering. It's almost like a very non-traditional style, which the word itself, bounce, the letters are bouncing. It is the rebel style of brush lettering. So the way I'm going to do my K first, I'm going to start it with just simple downstroke, right? And then we do the loop. We do this one, and then connect this one to my letter S, this. And then now, knowing that I have some space here in the middle, we can create a loop to round about to the letter K. So we can add some extra flourish to the left, to the right. So from the left, we're doing a horizontal, a little bit of a mountain going down the hill. And then we're going to go up. And we're going to go bring it down, connect it to that one downstroke. So we have that one. It's very simple. Hey, Judith. No, I will not be teaching any, Sarah. There's not going to be any December classes, but I want you guys to stay in touch with me because all the classes that I've already prepared for, I am going to be filming those and I will upload them on my YouTube channel. So you can search me on YouTube. It's just at Mommy Lay, and then I will upload those classes on YouTube. So watch out for that one. All right. So we have the word give thanks. Okay, let's see if I can turn down the brightness so you can see the contrast. Not so much, just like that. So now that I have my sketch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to really try to lighten my sketch because our first base is going to be using a very light blue marker. And this light blue marker, you won't be able to see it because we're going to add some watercolors on top of this one. Because the Albrecht Durer markers, we're going to use them as a watercolor today. So if you don't have a marker, you can definitely sketch, lighten your sketch. If you don't have an alcohol marker or the Pitt Artist pen, then you can lighten your sketch as much as you can, and then you can just use your watercolor pen. But since I'm not using a watercolor pen, we're going to need a palette like this. This one is just a piece of silicone, like a hard silicone. If you have like a plastic, a watercolor palette like that you can use, or any type of packaging, a Ziploc, you can definitely use that to use with your markers. That is only if you're using some water-soluble marker, right? And I'm trying my hardest to lighten my sketch like this. I'm thinking because we have this space right here, we can say in all things, give thanks, but might be hard because it's in the middle. What we can do there is later we can add some fillers, like think of fall, so we're going to have some fall leaves in there. I call those little things embellishments, like little tiny stars, little tiny diamonds, just fillers. And it's going to look lovely. So we can just keep it give thanks like this, to be honest with you, right? So So Mommy Lay is going to be my YouTube channel as well, right? Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Jen. Okay, so now let's bring out our markers. This one is the Pitt Artist Pen, and this one is their alcohol marker, both from Faber-Castell. Now I'm going to show you the difference of the size of the brush. It is very big, this one. So if you have like a larger space, use the large one because it's going to be so much easier to do the blending. But both will work because they're both waterproof. The other is alcohol marker. The other one is an India ink. So we're going to use the alcohol marker today. And I'm going to close the lid of our Pitt Artist Pen. All right. Now, when it comes to brush lettering, there's two strokes that you really have to remember. It's all about the downstroke or any time that you would write towards your body. So this is your downstroke, and this is where you're going to use the body of the brush. And this is super important. You have to hold your brush pen around 45-degree angled so that you'll be able to use the thickness or the body of the brush. So any time that you're going to write towards your body, this is your downstroke. This is where you're going to use the body of the brush and you're going to apply a little bit of pressure. Now, the opposite, every time you would write away from your body, this is your upstroke or your light stroke, the thin stroke. And you're going to create the thin stroke by applying really light pressure and by using the tip of the brush. I'm going to show you just a sample. So 2 strokes, upstroke, light, and using the tip of the brush every time you would write away from your body. Apply really, really light pressure. If you have a heavy hand pressure like me, I promise you, I do understand how hard this is, but go as light as you can. And then when you're writing towards your body, again, hold it 45-degree angle like this, and then use the body of the brush and apply a little bit of pressure so that you can create some thick like this, right? So away from you, light. Every time you would write towards your body, heavy, right? So let's try that again. This is looking a little too dark for me. I might use a Pitt Artist pen, to be honest with you. All right, so again, light away from you, right? 45-degree angle, apply some heavy stroke. Then you're going to create some thick one. One more time, light away so you can create the thin, and then apply some pressure to create some thick stroke. Downstroke, heavy, light going up. Downstroke, heavy, light going up. So if I'm going to write the word give, light, heavy, light, one stroke, downstroke, heavy, light, downstroke, and then light going up, downstroke, heavy, and then light going up, right? Very, very similar to calligraphy. That is correct. All right, guys. I'm going to try and lighten this a bit more as much as I can. All right. And then another tip that I'd like to share with you, I like to tilt my paper a little bit to the left like this. And it helps me to create a much smoother and a uniform, thicker stroke. So try that. It might help. All right, I'm going to do my downstroke first for my letter G. So really heavy. And I'm really flexing this Pitt Artist pen. And now concentrating on the tip, just like that. Right? Now, don't worry if you don't have much difference from your thin and your thick line. What you're going to have to do is if you don't see a whole lot of difference from your thin and your thick, thinking in your head that every time you would go down, it's supposed to be heavy, so it's supposed to be a thicker stroke. So you might just have to retrace all your letters and just add a little bit of thickness. So no biggie, right? So if the first time you don't have a difference from your thin and thick, just kind of retrace it. Go back to how you wrote your letters. Oh, this one I did go down, so I'm just going to add a little bit of thickness in here. If you feel like it's not thick enough, then just add a bit more. So you can have a difference from the thin and thick line. All right, so I'm going to have one here, letter G, and then thin, right? So if parts of it is not equal, just go back in there. Don't worry about it. Go back in and fix it and add a little bit more thickness, just like that. Just like that. So don't feel like you have to get it right the first time, because we can always go back in and just add a little bit of thickness, just like that. That's good. All right. Especially this one, I'm using like a 9x12 paper, and it's really big. So sometimes it's super hard to create that thicker stroke when it's like you're writing super big letters. Right. So now my letter I, thick. Our goal here is for you to have a balance. So you want to have a uniform thickness in all your letters. That's our goal. So make sure that the thick part will be equal to the next letter. So looking at my G in here, I'm going to go thicken this part. Looking at this thick part right here, I want to make sure that my letter I, the thick stroke of my letter I, will be balanced to the thick stroke of the first letter. That's your goal. Here we go. Here we go. And then letter V. And then thin going up. All right, I'm going to have to go back in and just add some extra thickness in here. Just like that. Right? And then our connecting stroke. So all your horizontal strokes, it has to be thin, okay? So upstroke and your horizontal strokes are thin strokes. Now this one is horizontal because just sideways. This one is downstroke. So I'm going to have to add some thickness in here. And then going up again. Just wanting to make sure I have a good amount of thickness all throughout my letters. All right, that's good. All right, this one, my letter T. I know I'm going to have to do this again. Just add some extra thickness. Just like that. And then this one, I'm going to go on top of that letter G loop. Connect those. Now we're going to add some thickness later on to our loops so we can add some extra flourish. Now this one is thick, just like this. Oh, Angie, I know I'm going to miss you guys too very, very much. I promise you that. I was actually getting very emotional earlier because I'm like, oh, this is my last class. And then I sound like this, so it's not the best class. Sorry, guys. We have our letter A. Now I want to work a little fast so I can finish this. If I will give myself a little bit of critique in here, I feel like my A and my letter N is so close together. So just watch out for those little things. You want to make sure that you have equal space in between your letters, but sometimes things happen and you have to give yourself grace. So that's okay. So add some thickness in here. Then we have upstroke and then downstroke again. And because we have created our sketch, remember that you can always adjust. See? Because I know that I've made my letter A and my letter N too close together. I'm adjusting a little bit and moving a little bit of my stroke so we can have a little bit of distance, because those were just sketch, and then I can just delete that later on. So I'm just going to add here, move my letter K a little bit here, add some extra thickness, loop, and then to our letter S, thick, and then upstroke. All right, now it's time to fix some of this thick stroke. We can add some extra thickness, making sure that everything is well balanced, like that. And then I'm going to add my extra loop on top. So again, coming from down, going up, a little bit of hill, over to the top, and then down. And then just add thickness. See, if we use our watercolors right away, this is really going to be difficult. Just using the brush, oh, that's going to be hard. All right, so remember I said that we're going to add a little bit of extra thickness. So all the end part of our loop or flourishes, we're going to add some extra thickness to this one. So just the end part, okay? So I'm just going to add a little bit here, just to add some thickness on the very, very end, just like that. See that one? And then I'm going to do the same thing here to my letter K. Oh, just extra, just like that. And then we have our letter T as well. I think I'm going to add some extra thickness to this one too. This is too thin. Might be difficult to add some colors in there and then add the extra thickness on the last part. Just like that. Like that. And then we're going to add some extra thickness to the letter T as well. There. And of course, the letter G. Just like that. And we can also do that to our letter E as well. Like that. Right? It's going to be really, really cute. Oh, okay. I think we're all good. I think we're good. If you feel like you have to add some extra thickness to your thin strokes, do that real quick. You know, so it'll be easy to add some colors to it. As long as you have the separation of your thin and your thick strokes, you can add a little bit of thickness to your thin strokes, because it will be much, much easier to add some colors later on. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just kind of like just adding some extra width, just a little. And then if you have your sketches very obvious, now is the perfect time to clean that up. Clean up all the pencil strokes. There we go. It's going to be really nice once we start adding colors in here. Okay, for the colors that I'll be using, I know that I did provide that in the class description, but then again, we always talk about this. You don't always have to have the same colors that I do, but I have some green gold. I have a May Green 170. I do have the Scarlet Red, beautiful colors, and then I have some Indian red in here. But I did pull out some other colors in here. I have some tiny visitor there. Maybe we'll use it, maybe we won't, but I just have it on the side. So let's prepare our palette. Ta-da! And then I'm going to use a brush and then just apply it here. Just like that. And then my green gold. Ooh, I think I need more green gold color. I don't have a lot. And then the Scarlet Red. Yeah, definitely don't have a whole lot of that anymore. And then the Indian Red. Okay. Oh, I thought I have a water spray. I don't. So I'm just going to use this one and then just drop some water in there. So to really activate those pigments, make sure to use clean water. Just like that. And then if you have some paper towel, you're going to need it. It's really, really nice and handy to have some paper towel on the side because sometimes you would pick up some too much water and you need to dab it. So holding one, I always hold one like this just so I can have it on the side. If I need to kind of like dab or clean my brush, then I can do so, right? So I'm going to move my palette on the side. I'm just careful that it doesn't, I'm just going to put this on the side right here. Yikes. And then I'm going to do some blending of the colors. So we're going to start with green first, with green color. And we go on top of this one. Oops, I think this one is like, because it's really not a watercolor palette. So if you have like a pool of water, make sure that it doesn't go all over the place. Just like this. And then I'm going to grab some yellow so we can like have a good transition from green to yellow and then some orange. Remember that we can always add a bit more later on after this is dry. If you feel like it's not intense enough for you, then we can always add more colors later on. Right? Can add some orange in here as well. Just like that. Clean it a little bit. Do this one. I feel like I added too much water in my Indian Red. It's a little too diluted for me. Looks just like the Scarlet. So I'm going to move it here. And then I'm going to add a bit more because I want it more intense. So I feel like I added too much water. There. Because there's almost no difference from the Scarlet and then the Indian Red. All right, remember that our letter T is overlapping the letter G, so make sure to give that some space. There we go. See that one? Because we have our crossbar for the letter T. I want that to look different. Now, this is a perfect time to clean our brush, and we're going to go back to the green. Again, I'm going to skip that part of the crossbar so we don't get that. And this part as well here. Watch out for that one. Yes, we're going to have some several colors in here, and it's going to look so pretty. And then we're going to go in with the yellow. When you're blending, it seems a little bit tedious. You know, it's a lot of work, but I promise you, once you do the work, you're going to be so happy that you did because the result is just so pretty. So pretty. All right, I'm going to go in with my Scarlet Red. And I think I'm going to go all in with the Scarlet Red up until my brown, or the Indian Red, just like that. Yes, the yellow one is the green gold. The light one is the May green. A little bit there. I think I'm going to add the green gold on the very end. Yeah. Grab some of that yellow. What you can do also is that if you really want like super intense, vibrant colors, you can use a marker straight on and then just blend with water. Now, my only problem with that is sometimes, depending on the paper that you're using, sometimes you will see the mark where you have applied your markers, and I don't necessarily like that. I really want to have that watercolor, the watered down look of the watercolors. But again, that's the beauty of art. It's so subjective, right? So you can really do whatever you like, and no one's going to say, I don't like that, but only yourself. You shouldn't allow anybody to judge your art in any way but yourself. Then again, I always say this, you have to be kind to yourself when you're doing any type of art. So enjoy the process. And I hope after doing 2.5 years of this, I hope that you have learned that from me, that be kind to yourself, especially when you're trying to learn something new, like, brush lettering per se. This one is really a frustrating moments for me when I was first starting to learn it. Now I'm doing a green, so from the Scarlet Red to the green gold, now I'm back to our May green. Yeah, learning brush lettering was so tricky, but it really did gave me so much joy. That's when I kind of like semi-retired from singing, and I knew I needed an outlet. And that's when I fell in love with the art of brush lettering. I'm like, this is it. Brush lettering, this is it. So even though it was so hard and it was so frustrating, and oftentimes I wanted to quit, I just kept going. I kept going. And I promise you guys, just keep going. I know in the beginning it's like, oh, you want to pull your hair? So frustrating. That downstroke and that thin stroke. I'm like, I know the feeling. Especially I have such a heavy, heavy hand pressure. I struggle with my upstroke or the thin strokes. It's so difficult. Okay, so this is the Scarlet Red. I'm going to stop in there, and then I'm going to do the green gold. But I want the May green inside, so we're going to use the green over here. It's like a continuation from our letter V over there, like that. And then we're going to do our Indian red in the very end. Just like that. Then we're going to do green gold in between, or yellow one. Just like this. And I think with fall, this is the perfect time to create those muddy colors. Fall season, autumn, it's okay to add some muddy colors in here because that's fall. All right. Now, again, notice how the colors are now super light because these markers are watercolor markers. Watercolors are supposed to be translucent. But again, the beauty of watercolors is that you can always add a bit more later on. You can layer them, layer and layer until you get that colors that would satisfy your happiness, your joy. If you feel like, ooh, I want to add a little bit more green in there, let it dry and then add another layer. Okay, so this time I'm going to go in here with my Indian red. And I want to stick with the orange to the left and then green over here on the right to fill in the crossbar of my letter T. Just like that. I think I'm going to add some Scarlet Red also. Just like this. I'm going to do Scarlet Red on the left of my crossbar. And I feel like I need a bit more because this is so watered down. My blended palette is so watered down. Now, if you have a little bit of drops here and there, don't worry about it. You know, it's like part of the art. I'm saying that because I can see where I have a few drops here and there, like little few droplets. And I'm okay with it. We can even add some splatter here later on. It's going to look so pretty. So don't stress yourself over that. All right. And I think instead of the green, I think I'm going to do a bit of the green gold. But I don't have a whole lot of the green gold. So we're going to see. I think that one is like dried out completely. I'm not sure. I need to grab some more of that colors. Right? And then I'm going here. So even though the two colors would meet, it's okay. It's going to be so pretty. They can blend in and they're going to look good together. And that's why we picked all of these colors because they look so pretty. I have too much water of that Indian red and they're like going all over. So I'll just have it on the side. I'm going to grab a bit more of my May green. Because it's so watered down as well. Now, the question that I get asked, Lay, when do you use markers and when do you use watercolor in the palette? I will be honest with you. The reason why I love using marker is that every time I would use a watercolor palette, I tend to pick up so much pigments. I don't know. Maybe it's the heavy hand pressure. I'm not sure. But I always tend to pick up more colors than I intended to. So that is my problem when I'm using some watercolor palettes. It happens every single time. So that's my problem. And that's why maybe I enjoy using the markers because I can always add a bit more when I feel like it's so watered down, then I just add a bit more. Right. So that's the May green. And now I'm going to add some green gold in here for some blend. And this is a nice transition to move into the Scarlet Red from the green gold. All right. Pick up some of that Scarlet Red. There we go. Just like that. Thank you so much, Luke. I will miss you so much as well. Your happy smile makes me so happy every time I see it in that little tiny screen of mine. So, yes, I will miss you every Wednesday. I hope that you continue to just keep creating and making art. All right, and I'm adding the yellow again for the transition. So we're not going to get too much of mud because, you know, from the orange to the green, you might get too much mud that there's not going to be any more difference in the color. Oh, it's okay, my darling. Right, so then I'm going to go in, no more India red. So we're just going to add a bit more of that India red here. Yeah. There we go, and then add it over here. And then that. I think the green gold will be the best transition from all of the colors to the green, to the orange, from the brown to the green. So from the brown, do the green gold first or yellow, and then go back to the green again. So you can have a little bit of that transition of colors. It's going to look good. So I'm going in with my green gold and just kind of like clean this up before I add my maid green in here. Ooh, all right. Then clean that just a little bit so I can really have a concentrated green color in here. Now, if you're using the Faber-Castell, the Gold Faber aqua markers, that's going to be more intense, vibrant, and saturated in colors because that one is a water-based dye ink. So the dye inks are brighter in color, maybe slightly more opaque, and more vibrant than the Albrecht Durer, because the Albrecht Durer are like watercolor pigments, like pure watercolor pigments in a marker form. All right, I'm gonna go in with just a little bit of yellow in there, just so I can add my Scarlet Red or the orange one that we have. So we can have a break from the green. And over here, orange to orange. Oops. Oh yeah, that's really nice too. So I have the orange glaze in here. I think that's going to look really nice too. And the sanguine color, yes, Jen, I think that's going to look really, really nice. Let's see. I'm going to add the May green, okay, after the Scarlet Red, just so we can see. But I think if we don't layer it too much and then just let the two colors meet just a little bit, I think it'll be okay. I think you'll be okay. Luke, there's going to be more classes here for Michael's for sure. Yeah. Um, um, but I think Faber-Castell, we're just taking a short break. But there's going to be more learning here with Michael's. So make sure to always visit Michael's classes and events so you can always stay updated for the classes. All right. And then just add the green gold again. I think it's a better. I think I like it. Yeah, just so don't overlap it too much. I think it'll be okay. And then I'm gonna make all of these green gold. The brush that I'm using right now, if you guys are wondering, this is the Princeton brush. This is the number 2 in size. So it's really nice to use for like blending like this. I think the brush itself is, even though it's thin, it's still very nice. It has a good flex, and I really like that I have control over the brush because there are some brushes that is so hard to control. I mean, I'm like all over the place, and I just don't like it. This one has a good snap. It has a good flexibility that I really, really like this one. So it could be a little bit pricey, but if you take care of your brushes, you can use it for a very long time. So just make sure that after you're done using it, don't leave it in the your well of water or your bowl of water, just so that it doesn't get bent. It will always stay in its original form. Yeah. Hi, Luke. I'm pretty sure they're going to have more painting classes. Yes. Ooh, this one I can really see the blue. I don't know what happened there. Not sure of the time, Luke, so make sure to sign. visit the Michaels website, okay? I'll do the scarlet here. I think that's a pretty transition from the orange to the yellow. I mean, from the yellow to the orange. Here we go. And I think I'm going to finish up with my Indian red in here. And right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure if I want to add the word always in here, because if I fill this in with some, oops, some leaves, some fall leaves, I think that's all I need. There we go. Now, again, if you're looking at your painting or your illustration and you feel like, oh man, I wish it's more vibrant, I understand, then you can always come back in and then add more colors. For example, the May green, just come back in and add more in the areas where you want it. Um, Maybe less color, less water in your blend. I'm just going to go in, I won't do all of it, just so you can see what it's going to look like if you add a second layer. So once they're dry, can go in there and then just add more layer, right? And then I think I added green gold. Now the only problem with that is if the colors are not that obvious, which colors you use, that's the only part that I feel like, ooh, which one did I use in there? But I think you can see where you've used the green gold or you use the scarlet red and all that. I think you'll be okay. So you can add a bit more vibrancy in there and more saturation. It just takes a little bit, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Just like this. Because it looks very different when using a marker on top of this, instead of like doing this with watercolors. I don't know. I mean, it's just a different look. It really just depends on what you want and how you like it. So I'm just gonna stay right there. And I'm gonna keep adding there later on. Now I want to add a little bit of fillers. Now the fillers that we talked about earlier, um, especially the fall season, it's really nice to just add some extra leaves, some greeneries in here. For example, just gonna get some of my May green in here. And over here on this side, we can add a little bit of here on the letter K. So I'm just gonna add the middle part, right? Now we're just going to add almost like a eucalyptus looking, like that. When you add some fillers like this to your page, everything looks more intentional. The placement of your letters, all the spacing, it takes away that, because when it gets busy, there's more for the eyes to see. Does that make sense? So it's not so focused on just the letters, where you can see sometimes when it's just that, you can really kind of like pinpoint, I didn't blend too well in here, or the spacing between these letters are not equal or not too balanced. So when you have extra fillers and extra elements in your illustration, in your piece, there are more subjects for your eyes to see and to look at. So your focus is not just on one thing. And that's why I love adding some fillers. Plus, it looks really pretty. So you can add some greeneries like that. You can also add some fall leaves. So we're going to add a little bit of that green gold. Let me grab some of that. For example, here we can add some in here on this side. So I'm going to make it where it's tilting to the left. So I always start with the middle part, right? And I almost treat it where it's like doodling instead of painting. I always like to do the frame first. So I'm going to draw it like I would draw a leaf there. And if you need help with some easy fall doodles, I did add some template on my website and also a video. So make sure to check that out. You can download the template on my website as well, where you can trace on top of it. So I'm just adding green gold here completely. And then we can add some Scarlet Red in here. And of course, make sure to visit us at fabercastell.com for more inspiration and more information about future products. And then I'm just adding some Scarlet Red so we can do a little bit of blending while that green gold is still wet. You can even add a little bit of May green in here if you still have some in there. I'm going to drop a little bit in there. There we go. Just like that. And then wait for that to dry. And make sure that if you're going to add a lot of fillers on your page, make sure to work from the top to the bottom, right? It's IamMommyLay.com. So there it is again. Because sometimes my problem is I would smear everything like this. I started from the bottom, and if I would add some things on the top, I would definitely smear that. I know it for sure. Now I want to add a little bit more to my left side in here. Now we're running out a little bit of time because it's always like this. So I want to add just a little bit to the top. And here I want to add some, I'm using the India red. I need a bit more color. We're just going to add a bit more in here. Remember that you can tilt your paper, okay? You can always make it like this if it's much easier for you. Art is not supposed to hurt, so make it work for you. If you have to tilt your paper, tilt your paper. Just like this. And then move it again on the side. Oh my goodness, that was so much fun. Ah, here we go. And then we'll add some more in here, maybe just some diamonds or some stars. Oops, I got too excited over that one. This is the shape I like to create. It's almost like a North Star. That's a nice thing to just add here and there, or some dots. Honestly, if you feel like, oh, I can't do that star, a regular star will be great. Some few dots here and there. These are nice fillers as well. Just like that. Move in some of that spaces. And then play around with your colors. I have a little bit of green gold in here. Just add a bit more there. Add some extras in here. Here is another nice area to have. I'm gonna paint a leaf a different shape this time, just so you can have some variation. And then again, while it's still wet, you can drop in some of the color so you can have some nice blending. When this dry later on, it's going to look so pretty because you can really see that difference. But there we go. Thank you all so much for being here today. And I really do apologize for my voice. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful pleasure being with all of you guys for the last 2.5 years. Thanksgiving is just around the corner. I'm always grateful. I'm always super grateful for each and every one of you for taking the time to comment like this one. Um, Thank you for attending the classes. Thank you for always being here, cheering me on. And, in behalf of Faber-Castell USA and Michael Stores, my name is Leigh Ralston. It's been a wonderful pleasure being your teacher and your cheerleader. Thank you all so much. Until next time, I hope to see you again. Thank you, everybody. And as always, stay creative and stay happy. Thank you all.